Okay, so what we will try to do is, okay, in today's class, okay, using standard Python, okay, using standard Python to automate administrative activities. So as a Python developer, sometimes you might be asked to do administrative activities also, right? So then whatever Python code which you have basically developed needs to be executed on a Linux machine or on a Windows machine and all of this stuff. Today we'll focus on Linux machine. Okay. So quickly what I'll do is, okay, let's create a Linux VM in AWS. Okay. So for the people who don't know how to create a Linux machine in AWS, there is a YouTube video around it. Go to Learning Thoughts. You are already looking out for playlist of Python. You have a AWS playlist. In that, you will have a second video which basically speaks about how to create AWS EC2 instance. Okay, right, sir. So fine. I'm going into my AWS account, and then I'll quickly create one Linux machine. Okay, so let me launch an instance. Okay. So if you basically go into this Amazon Linux, it will have Python installed, but generally that is not something which you might have if you don't have a AWS account. So that's the reason why I'm going with Ubuntu. Okay. I will call it as Python test. Okay. So I'm quite sure everyone in this classroom might have created a Linux virtual machine on the cloud at least once. If that is not the case, please have a look at that video. Right. So let us wait for this machine to be created. Right. Right, sir. So this machine is running. Now let me try to connect to this machine. Okay. So these days, avoiding a Linux machine is no longer the case. Whether you like it or don't like it, you have to work with Linux. So SSH hyphen I. I think I've used terraform.pem. Okay, right. And then username is Ubuntu, and this is the public IP address. Right. Now let us basically try to see whether this machine has Python. So Python hyphen version, right? It says I don't have a Python, but try Python 3 instead. Am I clear on this? Yeah. So we have Python 3 installed, and if you want to access Python 3, you have to use this Python 3 hyphen version. Okay, you can do that. Okay, and then to install packages, okay, what is that we do? We install pip, right? Yes or no, sir? Okay. So how do I install pip? Okay, there are many ways of basically installing pip. All right. So you can simply say Python. Okay. Or let me go with this installing pip. Pip is a Python package manager. in the case of uh, Linux, Windows machine, we didn't had a need to do this, right? So installing pip Ubuntu, right? So how do I install pip into Ubuntu machines, right? So now you can take whatever versions that make sense to you, right? So we have two flavors of this. Okay. So the one of the easiest way of installing is this. So let me copy the statements and directly insert them. Okay. Correct. And then let me install Python. Okay. So ensure Python 3 is installed. So the commands which you need to execute over here is sudo apt-get install Python 3. This is, you please do this if the Python 3 is not present. And after that, you have to just execute. Okay. And whenever you're working on Ubuntu machines, right, don't forget to do update. Okay. So if you want to do it on a Red Hat flavor, please find the commands above. Right. Now, if I basically type Python 3 hyphen version, I'll get Python 3. Pip 3 hyphen version. Okay. So I get both of them. But my Python 3 is 3.6. It is not going to haunt us anyway. It is not going to haunt us anyway for whatever Python which we are trying to basically achieve. Okay, sir? Right. Now, generally in Python, okay, in Linux machine, you might be seeing this, right? ls. I will pass the output of ls, right, to something called as less. Is this possible? Right? So let me go to the root folder or sudo hyphen I and then pwd, right? And now if I type ls, I'll have oh, cd slash. If I type ls, I'll have a lot of folders over here, right? So in this, if I want to search for something, or let me get into cd bin, okay, if I type ls, I'll get a lot of stuff. Okay, if I want to see them one by one, what is it I'd do? I would basically try to tell, okay, pass this, pass this to less. So am I able to pass the output of one command into another command using a pipe symbol? Yes or no, sir? Okay. Now, if you are asked to write a Python program which will accept input as this pipe, okay. So let us assume that you want to calculate the square of a number. Okay. So they might be giving something like echo 15. Okay. Pipe Python 3. Okay. So let me type something like, okay, square dot py. So it should give that it is 225. You might be asked to do this. If that is the case, how can I do this? If that is the case, how can I do this? Is this an interesting challenge? Right? So that is what we are going to achieve. Okay. Let me exit out of this machine for some time till we write that program. Okay. Now, Python programs which accept input by pipe in Linux systems. Okay, so now how is this possible? Okay, so create a Python program to calculate the square of the number. Okay, so something like this. Okay, and your output should be 225. Am I clear on this? Okay, right. Now let us try to understand about one of the interesting module in Python. Okay, sys module in Python. So are you seeing this module, sys module? Okay, now let me quickly open PyCharm. Okay, but today I'll be creating a new virtual environment because this is for Linux. Okay, let us wait for the PyCharm to be launched. Okay, but in the sys module, okay, while it is basically doing the stuff, let me go with Control F and then try to search for something called as stdin. Are you seeing stdin? What is stdin? Stdin is standard input, right? Do you agree with me? So in Python, whenever you enter any command, you will be entering into the standard input. So let me quickly go ahead and then file, create a new project. Okay, and let me call it as sysadmin. Okay, because this is something which you are trying to automate some of the sysadmin activities. Let me try to create in the same window. Right, sir? So what I'll try to do is I'll try to write a very simple code. Very simple code. Okay, but let this open. So there is already an update available. In the next class, I'll ensure that I am updated to 2020.2.1. Okay. So, okay. So fine. I don't want to add any files to the Git. Let me remove the stuff from here. And in this admin, I'm not worried about any modules and packages at this moment. Let me write straight away Python files. So I'm creating a Python file, okay, which is called as square.py. Am I clear on this? Okay. Yes, sir. Right. So generally, right, whenever you write any program for Linux, we will try to add something called as shebang at the top. Something called as shebang at the top. Okay. So now you can basically log in into this machine. Okay. And then you can type where is Python 3. Okay. So are you saying Python 3 is in user bin and all of that stuff, right? So you can try to write something like that. Okay. Or basically to make it very much easy, what most of the people will recommend is, okay, try to write, okay, something called as user bin, okay, so not user bin env Python, especially on the Linux flavors. Okay, so this is a shebang line, and there is nothing strange about it. Okay, or hash bang, whatever you call it as. Right. So you can give the literal path, but giving a literal path doesn't make sense, right? So because Python 3 might be present in different systems in different folders. For that reason, it is better that you give this. Okay. Now let me try to write my import statement. Import sys. Okay. Am I clear on this? And we have just now seen that in system we have standard input. So in Linux, whenever you are passing a command, okay, output of one command into another command, okay, is it not passing it to standard input, right? So I'll simply write, okay, if, let us not forget our practices, if name is equivalent to underscore underscore main, okay, then, okay, over here I'm trying to write a very simple function over here, okay, def square of a number. Okay. Yeah, why do I need a square of a number? There is already an operator, right? So it's okay. Right. So now over here, what I'll try to do is I will try to tell that for every input that is passed, or for every number that is passed. Okay, I don't need parenthesis over here. Right. In sys dot standard input. So just let us look at sys dot standard input. It is nothing but one file, that's it. Standard input is nothing but a stream of data. Right? What I'll try to tell is print. Okay, let us first do the conversion. Okay, value is equals to int of, okay, number dot strip. Okay, now how do you calculate value? Return value, or there is no need for you to return, just print it. Print value star value, or value star dot star 2. That is your choice. Okay, and let me try to format this file. Okay, so what is standard input for you? Standard input is stream of inputs, and then you can directly iterate it, Okay, so shall I copy this program into Linux machine, sir? So I'm logging into Linux machine. Okay, so let me create a directory called as scripts. Okay, let me get into scripts folder and let me create vi square dot py, and in this let me insert all of this. Right, now after this, okay, I will add execute permissions for this square dot py. Okay, right, and then if you look into this present working directory, are you seeing home ubuntu scripts? Okay, so I want to add this folder to the environmental variable so that every time, okay, so if you, what I'll be trying to do is echo, if you look into dollar path is where Linux folders will be searched for. Okay, and then I'll be trying to write this. Okay, let us try to see what are the values which you'll get. Okay, you'll get this. Now I will try to put this. Okay, we have learned this in Linux. Vi In the home directory, I will have a file called as bash rc. Okay. Go to the end of the line. Okay. And at the last, try to write a statement which is export path equals to. Okay. Right. Now, if you want, you can log in out of the system, log out of the system, log in back, and then let us basically look into, okay, echo $path. And we should be seeing that scripts folder at the last. Sorry, seeing scripts folder. If you do this, the advantage is you can directly run the program which we have written. What was our program? Are you seeing square.py? Otherwise, you have to remember the path of it. Okay. So let me get into scripts folder. Okay. And then let me try to tell echo 15 and pass that output to script.py. Okay. Ah, square.py, right? Am I getting 225? Okay. Now let me write it. 15 backslash n 20 backslash n 2. So is my program working, sir? So if you have to accept, okay, Python, uh, if you have to make your Python program run, okay, which takes a input from standard input editor, can we do this? Yes or no? Okay, I'll just put a screenshot of this. I'll just put screenshot of this, and then let me save this into the folder over here. Okay, Python 1.png. Right. Now let me exit out of the system and let us try to basically come across. Okay. So the input by pipe, okay, right, is another form of redirection. Okay, is another form of redirection. Right. So to accept this, use sys module and in sys module use sys module as shown below. Let me not try to explain the code over here. Right. So Python code, we have written a very simple code over here. Okay. Now, if someone asks you to, okay, can you write me a program which will basically send the download the file? Okay, something like this. Okay, right, something like, okay, echo https://test.com slash 1.zip 1.zip. Okay, and redirect that to download.py. Can we write that file? Okay, pipe in Linux means, okay, please go through my Linux sessions. Pipe in Linux means the output of one command can be passed as an input to the other command. That is what a pipe means. That is what a pipe means. Am I clear on this, sir? Okay. So why Python 3? Right? If you have not added the necessary work, then you would be adding Python 3. Okay. But if you have looked at my statement over here, did Python 3? I was directly calling sphere.py. Okay. That is when you have done the necessary stuff. When you have done the necessary stuff. Okay. So when when we start understanding the files, okay, I will try to basically help you in understanding how can I pass input, which is basically from a file also, right? Okay. Now, what I want to do is, okay, I want to write a very simple Python file, okay, which will basically try to check, okay, whether the machine is accepting SSH connection or not. Am I clear or not? Do we require such? Do we have such kind of requirements? Okay. So someone had asked you, okay, I want to verify whether SSH connection on this Linux machine is working or not. Okay. So how would I do that? How would I do that? Okay. Right. So let me try to speak. Write a Python script to verify SSH connection. Okay. So in this case, if you look at it, we are using Python as a script, not really as a programming language. SSH connection cannot be verified over ping, sir. Okay. So now, initially, we will be trying to basically do this in a different way, right? So I'll quickly do some what do you call this? Some small changes into the Ubuntu machine which I've created. Okay, right. Let me log in into this machine. I'll try to make small changes. Okay, if you want to understand what they are, you need to basically look into my Linux videos. Okay, right, right. So this is something which I've done, and sudo service restart sshd restart. Right. So let me create a new user, sudo. Okay. There is no need for sudo. Add user. Okay. Let me call it as test user. So the password is also test user. Right. Now I'll exit. Okay. Now I want to see whether I can log in with test user on this machine or not. So for that, what is that I'll do? I'll try to build SSH command, something like SSH test user @ this. Okay. Then let me type test user. Okay. I'm able to log in into this. Now let us assume that I have hundreds of machines where I have to verify this. Okay. So writing script will make sense. Do you agree with me on this? Okay. So once we learn the file handling, what we will do is we'll create a CSV file. In that CSV file, we'll put server names, and our code will read all of this files line by line. and then it will try to verify the SSH connections for all the entries in the CSV file. But at this moment, let us not do that. Okay. So to handle this SSH connections, you can do that straight away. Uh, but I will be using one of the modules in Python, one of the modules which were basically external. Okay. So Python or PyPy. This is the Python use package index, right? So over here, Paramico. Paramico. Right. I missed it. So are you seeing this Paramico library? Okay. So to connect using SSH, let's use Paramico library over here. Okay. So everyone is on the system, right? Or some kind of a mobile phone or whatever it is. Okay. Right. So over here, there is some description that is basically given. Okay. Right. And then go to the Google and then directly try to help for Paramico Python example. You can take any example for that matter. Okay. So can you please look into this? Can you please look into this for at least 5 or 10 minutes? Okay. And try to tell me how can I create a client object? How can I create a client object? How can I create a client object? You can do Googling. You can read this client class. Okay. The choice is yours. Okay. That is a module which is written by someone. We have to get used to this way. Okay. So whenever we are connecting from SSH, we have to give the username. We have to basically give the password or identity file, and probably we might need to accept the fingerprint. These are the three things which we would generally do. If I want this, I have to install an external module called as Paramico, and we have already looked into saying that whenever we want to do that, we have to execute pip. So let me basically go into this terminal. Okay, and then here in let me execute pip install Paramico. Sorry, sir. Okay. So why should I add this? Why not in a different fashion? We will also be looking into that. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Now new Python file. Okay. Check SSH. Check underscore SSH or check SSH.py. Ideally, it should be underscore SSH. Let me stick to the basics. Let me not take the. Okay. Okay. Fine. So let me minimize this at this moment. Okay. So first what I'll try to do is, okay, I will try to do the same thing whatever I have done in the first line. User bin env python 3. Okay. And then obviously I'll be importing Paramico. Okay. I can use from Paramico also, but I don't want to for now. Okay. Right. Now over here, if underscore name is equals to underscore main, then someone is calling our this Python function directly. Okay. So let me create a function over here. Def check underscore SSH underscore connection. Okay. And my function will take IP address. Okay. and then username, and then password as its arguments. Okay, this function will accept, okay, system details, okay, or host details. What are the details which it accepts? IP address of the host, username of the host, password of the host. Okay, and then it will return true if the, so till I write the code, let me use a word called as pass. True if connected, false otherwise. All right. So over here, I will try to call check SSH connection. Okay, and then let me go into my AWS machine. My AWS machine's IP address is this. Okay, let me use named arguments. IP address is equals to this, comma, username is equals to test user. I have the same password. Password is equals to test user. Okay, and now if, okay, then print success. Okay, else, sorry, else print of failed to connect. Simple, yeah. And let us try to basically reformat this guys. Okay, right, sir. Now the first thing which I'll be trying to do is I'll try to create a SSH client object, SSH underscore client. Let me go into Paramicos documentation. Okay, so over here, how can I create a client? I can create a client by basically doing this. So rather than doing this, let me write from Paramico import SSH client. So now I can easily write SSH client is equals to SSH client of. Right. Now SSH client I have basically created. Then I can basically load the stuffs, or I can try to say that policy that will automatically add a new host key to the local host keys. I want to do this. Okay. Because I don't have a host key over here. I want to automatically add it. Okay. So for that, what is that we can do? Okay. So if you look into that, there is set missing stuff, and for this I need to auto add policy. Okay. So I am doing specific imports. Okay. So if you don't want this, you can basically go ahead auto add policy. Okay. Now if you look into this, this is basically what I'm trying to do. Okay. Right. Now in SSH client, okay, whatever I'm creating, there is one interesting method over here which is called as connect, which is called as connect. And let us look at the documentation of it. So he's writing a documentation much like what we read, like what we do, right? Yeah. But how have I gone into that method? So here there is a tip. Okay. To navigate the functions, okay, I have used this key combination. Control, okay, Where is this? Okay. Where is this one? Control F12. And in control F12, I can search any method. Okay. Right. So control plus F12. Function key F12. Okay. But on the day one, when we have spoken about installing the method, we have already spoken about using shortcut keys. Right. That is your choice. Okay. Right. Now, after this, SSH client dot load host keys. Okay. Now let me try to write SSH client dot connect, and over here I have to give host name is equals to IP address, comma, right? Username equals to, we have already something called as username, so I can pass that. Okay. And password equals to, I already have given something called as password. If nothing happens so far, I can basically say return true. And it is not good for you to have this connection. Just close this connection. SSH connection dot close. Okay. So very soon we will be getting into SSH connection and executing some code. Okay. But this is a very simple implementation of it. Very simple implementation of it. Okay. But okay, if we know exception handling, which we have not done so far, okay, it would be much better code. It would be much better code. All right. Fine. Whatever it is. So till whatever we have learned, we are trying to implement it, right? So that's fine. Okay. Now let me go over here. Okay. And then let me try to execute this from Windows first and then from Linux. So check ssh.py. Where is it present? There will be something called as reveal in in terminal. I know that. From terminal, it is very simple. Start dot. Okay. Yeah. So let me take this path. Okay. And let me open PowerShell. Okay. Let me get into this directory and then I can execute it. But it is better that we execute this from the terminal. Okay. Because virtual environment is also loaded. Now, let me execute Python check underscore sh.py. Ah, right. I might have messed up something. Not load host keys. We have set the auto policy, right? Load system host keys. Sorry. All right. Okay. So is it success? Yeah. Now let me try to give some wrong address. I'll change this from 54 to 53. I don't know what that machine is. Okay. Our program might not behave correctly, but at least it will not give us success. Okay. If you see, it will not take this much time, but it's okay. Let it fail. So are you getting some error? Yeah. So once we know how to handle exceptions correctly, even this we can basically handle in our code. But am I clear, sir? Okay. So now I've changed it back correctly. Python check sh dot. All right. So okay. The code developed is Python. Okay. But understand this is not a very effective code. It doesn't handle exceptions still. But it's okay. It will do the job. All right. Now, will it not be good if our program is something like this? right? Okay, I will try to say dot slash or Python check underscore ssh dot py. Okay, and then I'll give hyphen username test user. Okay, and then hyphen password test user. Is it not a better version, sir? Okay, do you agree with me on that? Yeah. The next approach is we will not even ask the user to enter the password. We will the program will prompt the user. That is the next level. Okay, here we are taking steps. But is this better than basically hard coding the stuff? Because here while running your code, you have a chance of passing whatever username which you want to this Python file. So next steps. How to create a Python program which accepts arguments from command line. Okay, so how to write a Python program which executes external tools in OS, right? These will be our next two steps. Is this interesting, sir? Okay, generally I have seen developers who will try to learn Python, they would not try to learn the command line, they will directly be rushing into web. Okay, but understand, when we learn Python you should be an all-rounder. So because Python is used everywhere, we should know how to write command line tools also. So that's what we will be doing for the next couple of days. We will try to learn how to build command line tools using Python. Okay, then we will get back to our functions jazz, right? What are closures, what are generators, right? And then what are anonymous functions and what is lambda in Python, right, sir? Okay.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.